Welcome back to video number 6, Shape Tweening. This part of Lab 2 deals with morphing the letter E into a flame image that I've already placed inside your movie. So the first thing I want you to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to create another layer. We're going to call this one Shape Tween. And what we need is we need to get a copy of this letter E, and we're going to use this fire symbol that we have in the library. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and expand your Illustrator file folder, and you'll see that you actually have a movie clip named Fire already in the Flash file. So go ahead and drag a copy of that to this stage, and what we need to do is we need to convert that to a graphic symbol to shape tween it. We can't shape tween the motion or the movie clip. So you'll see that it's already selected, and in order to convert it to a graphic symbol, I can just go ahead and press F8 on the keyboard, and that opens the Convert to Symbol dialog box. I'm going to go ahead and give it a descriptive name based on the conventions you've been learning, and make sure I choose graphic from the pull-down list if you don't already have it there. Just pointing out inside this dialog box, you'll see that this is where you can actually change the registration point for a symbol. By default, it is in the upper left-hand corner, but if you want to exact position in items on the stage, you can always use the registration point. You could put it in the center, the lower right-hand corner, whatever you choose. We're going to leave it at the default. Go ahead and click OK, and you'll see a copy of that graphic symbol has been placed inside your library. So then we can go ahead and select this image on the stage and then delete it. So we just used it to create the graphic symbol, then we can delete it. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to use this letter E as the other part of my morphing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock the E layer, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on frame 80, and that selects this letter E. I'm going to do a Control-C on the keyboard to copy it. I'm going to put a keyframe in frame 80 because that's where I want the motion tween to start. So I have the keyframe, Control-V as in Victor, and that pastes the letter E onto the stage. So see, there's the first part of my shape tween. So what I'm going to do is I want to place this letter E exactly on top of this letter E, so the second letter E. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. And then I can go ahead, while it's still selected, first I'm going to make sure I lock the letter E layer because I had 2 layers unlocked. I want to make sure that I'm only working with this letter right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my arrow keys on the keyboard to position it into place, just eyeballing it. It's fine. Zoom back out. And then the second half of the shape tween is whenever you shape tween or morph, you're always working with 2 symbols. So I'm going to use that G-Fire symbol that I just created. So that always gets placed in the last frame of the shape tween. So the first thing you have to do, and a lot of students forget to do this, is you have to make sure you insert a blank keyframe into that last frame before you drag the fire symbol to the stage. So you'll see it's a blank keyframe because I have that open circle. I can drag the G-Fire and I'm going to place it on top of the E, but you can see that it's obviously too big. It would just not look right. So using the transformation tool, I'm going to go ahead and kind of scale that down, place it over the letter E. I'll zoom in and make sure they kind of look, well, it looks good. It actually looks pretty good right there. So they're about relatively the same size. So I've got those 2 keyframes. You can see that. Now the next step you need to do is you have to always break apart the symbols or the text blocks that you're using before you can shape tween it. So zooming back in so you can actually see this happen, you'll see that that flame is selected. While it's selected, I'm pressing Control-B on my keyboard, and I actually pressed it 3 times to get it to that all the way broken down. Clicking on frame 80, I can also do Control-B until the E shows that pixelated pattern. Then clicking in between the 2, I can just insert a shape tween. And I know it's a shape tween because it turns green on the timeline. Green shaded areas is a shape tween, blue is a motion tween. And so if I scrub the timeline, I'll see that there's that letter E. Now you can see behind it, I still have that letter E behind it, and that's actually an error that I had you create on purpose. And we're going to go ahead and fix that in the very last part of the tutorial called Cleanup. So I will see you in the last tutorial for cleaning up the letter E. Thank you.